I'm the senior learning architect at Buffalo Wild Wings, and that's a fancy title for instructional designer, to be honest with you. But as I spent a lot of my time trying to develop myself, I found this book, and I highly recommend that everybody take a look, and it's called Make It Stick, The Successful Science of Learning. And one of the topics that I came across, or one of the chapters, really resonated with me and really was such an eye-opening moment. And how often do we include multiple choice quizzes at the end of training events, whether it's an e-learning, whether it's a different section, right? So we have these multiple choice. Don't even get me started on the a million answers until you get it right part of it. But so we include these multiple choice questions, but has anybody here ever heard of Ebbinghaus or the forgetting curve? Okay. So when you take a look at the forgetting curve, one of the things that you'll notice is that our learners will retain 90% of that information within the first 4 hours. They'll still have about 90% of what you train them on, which is great when they take a multiple choice quiz 5 minutes after that e-learning course. But if you look at the forgetting curve, without any additional practice or review, within 24 hours, they're going to forget 50% of that information. So we give them a multiple choice quiz. They take it after their e-learning course, take it after their training. But do we ever give it to them again later? Do we ever go back to see if they really retain that information? No, we don't. And so it's great that they can complete a multiple choice quiz 5 minutes after. But I'm here to tell you that when I read Make It Stick, one of the things I learned really quick is that we need to stop relying on those as our true gauge on retention and really start to look at what is the longevity of the retention of that information. So I know, like, one of the things that I've done based on reading this is instead of giving them a quiz today immediately after, we'll do a quiz the next day. And not treating that as our gauge to say that this is the retention of training, because it's really great to be like, yes, they got 100%. 6 of the questions they had to do process of elimination, but you know what? Yes, they got my training. But if I give them that quiz the next day, that's really going to show me where my gauge is. And I've even actually moved away from that more as a focus of utilizing that as a training tool. And so that's one of the things that when you read Make It Stick, they talk about stop using quizzing as like a gauge, but more of a tool, more of a training tool to give an opportunity to what's called retrieval practice, or trying to practice pulling that information, and stop saying 5 minutes later they pass the quiz and I know they can do it. Because do our learners, for most of us, do our learners take quizzes every day? No, we're not training them to take multiple choice quizzes. We're training them to do skills and knowledge, work with our guests, clean rooms, handle different opportunities, cook, whatever. They're not learning how to do multiple choice quizzes every single day. So let's get to where they are. Let's get to where our learners are every day, and let's do something more of a skills validation, right? Instead of doing a multiple choice, we do a skills validation to say, can you do this? And less on the, hey, it's really easy for me to create a multiple choice quiz, but let's get down to where they're at and do more of a skills validation to really be able to provide our learners the opportunity to apply within the actual environment for which they're going to use those skills. Because one of the other things that I learned is that if you can do that and give them the environment for which they're going to apply, they're actually going to retain it even more. Because if we train, let's say, a line cook, and we're trying to test their knowledge or gauge whether they retain the information in a how much goes on this burger, and it's a multiple choice quiz, when they actually go to make that burger, is that how they're making it? No, they have the ingredients in front of them, and that's how they're applying it. So I just wanted to bring this out because I'm just so passionate about it. And I think that it's so eye-opening when we really look at the fact that we looked at as a gauge, but that's really what's in their short term. That's why cramming works. Do you remember cramming in college? Do you remember that? That's why that works. But I guarantee you, a week from there, you probably weren't remembering that quiz again or that information. So thank you very much.